What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Season 2, Episode 52 of Hit the Books, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of sports and sports gambling. Each episode, we break down the latest news and trends, provide analysis, and offer up our best bets and betting advice. So let's jump into this week's episode of Hit the Books. On this week's episode, we got some college football to review, what we think's happening this year in college football, plus some news in the NFL and NBA, plus our power rankings and more in the MLB. Not to forget, we have some good stuff coming up in the next few weeks, as this is our last episode of Season 2. Next week, August 30th, the NFL Week 0 episode and the start of Season 3 here at Hit the Books. September 6th is our NFL Week 1 episode. We're super excited to jump in and do our live stream there, our NFL picks and preview. Let's move into this week's episode and introduce my co-hosts that join me each and every week, Huff, Ace, and Mackie. Huff, you want to get us going? What's up, buddy?
Yeah, what's going on, everyone? Happy to be back. Another week closer to the football season. It's week 0 in the college football world. We're just under 2 weeks away from the NFL season next Thursday. Or 2 weeks away, right? Yeah, I'm right on that. 2 weeks away from the NFL season. So college football will get us. Yeah, college football will hold me over until then, but football's officially back, and I can't wait for it.
Let's go, Mackie. Let's keep it rolling. How you doing this week, buddy?
Yeah, like Huff said, football's finally back. I've been talking about it all summer, and can finally stop watching all these MLB games. But other than that, it's been pretty good.
Awesome. Super good stuff. Ace, back. You're back after a 2-week hiatus. What do you got for us, buddy? Nice to see you again.
Yeah, hyped to be back. 2 weeks off in the summer, but I was out there doing some work stuff and then playing some hockey. Tough loss, can't complain. But what are you gonna do? Happy to be back talking some sports. Got the NFL right around the corner, so that's hype. And baseball's heating up. My Red Sox falling out of that wild card race a little bit, but hoping they can get back in. Got some good stuff on the docket today as well, so ready to go.
Let's do it. Let's start off this week's episode with a top 3 segment. We're going to do top 3 Gatorade flavors. I'm pretty excited about this one. I'm going to go first. My number 3 is Riptide Rush, fruity one that kind of tastes like grape. I think that's a fun one. Real cool. I like the color too. Number 2 is, this was a tough one for me because I really like this one. Like, this is honestly my go.
Is this all time? We jumped right into this. Is this all time Gatorade flavors?
Yeah,
I think so. Like
Yeah.
ones that you can't get them anymore.
I went colors, dude. I didn't think that much into it.
Why Huff's gonna do I know what he's gonna do.
All right, go.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, go. You're good.
All right, number 2. This was a tough one for me. I mean, I thought that, or this is the one that if I go into a gas station, like I'm probably grabbing this, but Frost Glacier Cherry. I love that white one. Tastes like cherry. Oh, it's so good. And number 1, Cool Blue. Can't go wrong with the dark blue. I love the dark blue. When I was a kid, I used to love the Frost blue, but I'm a dark blue guy now.
That's crazy. I
that's
hate Glacier
a
Cherry.
solid list.
Yeah, Glacier Cherry is
in there. I thought you were going with the light blue, and you just said cherry. I was like, ugh, not for me. I like the light blue one, but
No, cherry is it.
I'll get right into mine. It's hard for me to put them in any order, but these are probably the 3 that I get on a main basis. There's that variety pack where you get the red, orange, and yellow ones. That's usually my go-to because I like all 3 of those. But out of my top 3, I'm gonna put the yellow at number 3. The classic lemon lime. That's always a staple. That's probably my favorite non of the like crazy ones. Number 2, I'm gonna go with the light blue one, the Glacier Freeze, whatever the hell it's called. And number 1, I'm gonna go with the old school, the Fierce grape Gatorade. I think it was that's what it was called, right? Gatorade Fierce. I want to say it was. I don't remember exactly what it was. That's why I was trying to ask if we were doing like all time. Yep, Gatorade
Huff,
Fierce.
it is Fierce Grape.
Grape Thirst.
Let me see it.
It was called.
Fierce Grape, that dark purple is really good.
Yeah. It was the best one of all time.
That was electric. Let me get into mine because I have some similarities between the two of you. Yeah, Huff, that's an honorable mention if I could ever do one because I remember coming out of hockey practice and just slugging a Fierce Grape Gatorade. Like the flavor was so strong.
So good.
But all right, here I go with mine. So Coming at number 3, I had that Frost Glacier Freeze, the light blue one as well. At number 2, I'm surprised a lot of people, you guys didn't say this one as high, but the lemon lime yellow, that's like the vintage color. That's like a go-to. I'll have that every time, especially associated with sports. Had that so much. And then at number 1, I've got the Riptide Rush. Jesse called it out, but that's my number 1 pick. I think that's like a mix between the Glacier Freeze and the grape. So best of
It
both worlds
absolutely is.
there.
Not full on grape.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a lighter version of it, but those are my 3 by far, like any day. But you could hit me with any Gatorade and I'm still drinking it, like honestly. Except for the Glacier Freeze. I'll leave the white one in the fridge every time.
You guys suck.
You guys are real Gatorade fanatics. When I was thinking about this, I was thinking colors. So I'm gonna rattle off mine right now: orange, light blue, dark blue. And I don't know what they're called. I couldn't tell you what Glacier Freeze, whatever the hell you guys were saying. No, there's 3.
You got one of them
There-
right, orange.
Yeah.
Gatorade. Gatorades are colors. They don't have names.
Cool blue,
So,
really good. Did you say light blue then dark blue?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. I agree with Jesse's take that like the cool blue you age into it, but I had to respect the light blue
Yo,
because
you guys are
had
like
it so much.
sponsored or something.
I mean, don't even
We're
get me
the
started, dude.
Gatorade guys.
Huff, I thought you were gonna
If they're
say
listening.
Tiger Gatorade. You remember that back before the Tiger
The
Woods
Tiger
scandals?
ones.
The
I was
Tiger
gonna do
Gatorade
that, and
was
then I
called
remembered the
Match.
Fierce. Yeah, and then he got hit
Fierce
with all
is
the
good,
charges. They
too.
pulled that. They pulled that. Quick.
Mackie, how do you feel about strawberry kiwi?
All right, what color is it?
Pink.
Nah.
It was a strawberry watermelon, I believe, actually.
I don't know.
Powerade flavors
Orange.
are next week.
Oh yeah.
Powerade.
As long as it's
Not a
not
big
zero,
Powerade
hit
guy.
me with all of it. But you're going nipple top Gatorade. Come on, right? Like at the
Yeah.
gas station.
Or dude, if you can
If
still
you
find it
can.
in a can somewhere, that was
Oh my
Gatorade in a
god, Huff.
can
That
literally
was
tasted
fucking
different.
electric. The dark green can.
Yeah.
That was electric. Or the powder, like in the locker room, you take one of those home from Todd Gookin.
You pull it out of the.
30 of those.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say you pull it right out of the tub.
Use it for other stuff too. But yeah, I think those are good lists.
Great starting segment there, boys. Top 3 Gatorade colors. Let's jump into this week's episode. Just 15 days till the start of our NFL regular season. I know we're all super pumped. Don't forget about our live stream that we will be doing each Sunday morning on various platforms. I am very excited about that as well. Let's start off this week's episode in the NHL. As of today, superstar forward Austin Matthews has agreed to a 4-year deal with Toronto as the Maple Leafs ink him to a deal worth $13.25 million annually. Huge deal there for the Leafs. Austin Matthews staying in Toronto. Ace, you want to take it away on this one?
Yeah, I kind of want to just say I told you so. I think it was either Mackie or Huff were saying he's going to Arizona. I'm like, no way he's going to Arizona. He's staying in Toronto the whole time. I mean, it's one of the biggest spotlights in the league, and he's the man out there building a Hall of Fame career up in Toronto. Hate to
Huff,
see it, though.
Huff, was that you?
I don't know. I think we were both just trying to speak it into existence because it would have been cool, but I don't know
I
how
don't think it-
realistic I actually thought it was.
Yeah,
but
I don't really think-
I like this move for Toronto. I mean, you're securing your number 1 guy. Give him whatever he wants. Give him the blank check. I like a lot of the moves that Toronto's made this offseason with Domi and a couple of the other moves they made, Bertuzzi. But I don't know. You got to ink up 34 up the middle. I mean, he's the guy that you want there for the next 4 years.
Yeah, agreed. Maybe this will get him out of the second round now.
Yeah, definitely playoff accolades do not go into this $13.25 million deal. That's a bag.
But he deserves it. I mean,
I would give it
he's
to him every
definitely-
day. I mean,
he's one of the best in the league.
I'm
Top
surprised they
5.
only inked him for 4.
It's a 4 extension, wasn't it?
Yeah, but this was his last year of his contract.
Oh, gotcha.
Imagine him on the open market. What do you think he could have gotten? North of 14? Maybe.
What's McKinnon make?
Under
16?
that.
No.
No, I think
he makes more than that.
McKinnon just got the. Yeah, I think
Oh,
he's
he-
at max.
What is
It's
it
like
now?
16.5.
I was thinking it was
Yeah,
old
McKinnon's
salary,
like
that's why.
16.5. They gave him like as much as he wanted. And he was like, "Yeah, I'll
That's
take it."
mad.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
well,
It's nothing
considering
compared to
he's-
the other league.
Comparing him to Anthony Simons making $30 million a year over in Portland. I mean,
Or
it's
some
really
bench
not-
receiver in the NFL that makes $22 million a year just because of his name.
But in a salary cap era, I mean, 13.25 is so much tied into that guy. He better stay at a 100-plus point rate for every season.
I'd buy stock in that guy any day.
Yeah, I think they. I mean, you couldn't let him walk if you're Toronto. Put it this way: he's not the reason they haven't gotten out of the second round.
I just need the NHL to allow the players to play in the Olympics so I can cheer for Austin Matthews on Team USA. I used to do it with JVR back in
They
the
said they
day.
were possibly coming back with that. Is
Patch
that
ready.
still a thing? Is that still like
I
in the
bet you it's
talks?
kicking
I
around because none of these guys have done it. This generation hasn't been there, so they definitely want to get their flowers. Connor McDavid on the Olympic stage needs to happen.
yeah, that'd be cool. When's the next Winter Olympics?
Is it 2024?
Maybe
Is
I
it
don't
this
know.
season?
Is it?
I think it might be. I think the deal was
2026.
2026. All right, so the deal is still on the table. It's not hasn't been
Yeah,
confirmed yet.
I'm reading here that they're optimistic, but no deal is set for if the NHL players will appear.
But you know what they say, Gary
Because
Bettman.
wasn't it Marshawn? Wasn't it Marshawn that said something about he wanted to let the player? They should let the players go.
Yeah, I mean everybody says that. Look at dude. You remember when we were
No,
watching
but like
Marsh?
he was like tweeting or like said in like an interview or something like he was like very vocal about he thinks it's bullshit that the NHL doesn't let the players go.
Probably he's pretty vocal on Twitter, with everything. So I wouldn't put it past him. He's done it before too. I think he's lifted the gold with the.
I think he was on the team when Sid scored the
Yeah,
golden goal.
I think it was Bergeron, Marchand, Crosby.
Yeah, I think that was their line,
That's so steez.
That's ridiculous.
and they all were in their true fucking prime. That was crazy.
Yep. And that's what Team USA was weak. I think if we get it nowadays, Team USA might take it to him. Get the
Yeah,
Kachuk brothers out
Matthews,
there, the
Kachuk,
Kachucks, the Hughes,
Eichel.
Matthews. You get all the Hughes.
There's Ottinger and net.
Swayman.
Dude, they'd have a nice team. Fox on defense, Mackie, your boy.
Fox, McAvoy, Quinn Hughes.
McAvoy, let them play together like they did when they were 9 years old.
All these guys. Yeah, right. That'd be insane.
That
Literally,
would
Yeah,
be
and then
hype.
and then all the new young kids like that are rookies this year. Obviously not
exactly.
Bedard, but like who are the other kids that I'm forgetting? Fantilli and Cooley, are they American?
Everybody
Cooley wasn't
coming
this
up
year.
nowadays is American.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Troy Terry,
Mackie, is he American?
Trevor
Cooley?
Zegras.
Yeah, but he was last year.
Oh, yeah. I'm just thinking like all the young guys.
Yeah.
Not saying
big
it's just the
Cooley.
rookies this year. Yeah, dude, we'd have a nice team. They should do that. Canada would just still have just as nice of a team, but probably better.
Yeah, always. I mean, the goaltending maybe might be a little bit weak nowadays up in Canada, but
We'd hang with them though.
You'd probably give it to like Carter Hart.
he sucks.
Nah, I don't even know who they would give it to. We'd give it to? Probably Hellebuck.
Yeah, we'd give it to Hellebuck, Ottinger, and Swayman would be the three. That's a great three. Better than Jimmy Howard at the last time we went. Jimmy Howard, Ryan Miller, and John Gibson.
Alrighty, let's jump into this next point here. The Tampa Bay Lightning have signed forward Brandon Hagel to an 8-year contract extension worth an annual average value of $6.5 million. How much longer does this team have to build on their dynasty here in Tampa? Huff, what are you thinking about this one?
I don't know too much how I feel about this. I mean, he's obviously he's been a nice player there, but as far as the question is, how much longer does this team have to build on their dynasty? They looked defeated last year, obviously coming off all those cup runs, but I'm interested to see this team and how they kind of bounce back from their first, obviously non Stanley Cup final appearance. But it's going to be interesting. Obviously, an aging team like a lot of these other teams in the East, so. But they still got the studs like Stamkos and Vasilevsky and net. So Kucherov out there. But Ace, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all that Hagel got extended here. They got to keep what they have together. And that dynasty question is pretty easy to me. I think every year they're going to be in contention. Coming off the cup hangover, like you said, they're loaded up front. They have Stammer, they have Kucherov, Point, they have Hagel now. They have other guys like Sorelli down the lineup with some youth around them. And then on defense, still have Hedman and Sergachev and then the best goalie in the world. So I mean, they're going to be in the hunt for years to come. I know a lot of these teams, like we have a great Eastern Conference right now, but I still think that they're the team to beat year in and year out. They've been there, done that. Bona fide stars on that team all around. Mackie, what do you think about this one?
I agree with you with them. They're gonna stay relevant for many years to come, but I don't know about their cup runs anymore. They had their 2 and 3
That's what
years,
I
three
was
and
saying.
4 years,
Yeah,
whatever it was. They're still team is still pretty stacked, but the depth got them a long way, and they just don't really have it anymore. So I
they
mean,
moved
they're
on from a
still
lot of their depth.
yeah, exactly, and but they're still like a very skilled team, very talented team. Like you said, they're probably the best goaltender in the league. Hedman on the point, which is huge, and the star power in Stamkos and Kucherov and point, but the depth isn't there, and the East is crazy now. And they got bumped last year first round to the Leafs. Leafs finally get out of the first round, so I think I don't know. I think they're gonna be kind of stuck in the mud for a few years here to come.
I think they have the longest. I mean, that core, they have the best core. It's going to be together for a while still. I think it was that lack of defensive depth really that got to him. Because you remember when they were winning cups, they had guys like McDonough and Girardi on the point, still playing big
Yanni
minutes.
Gourde was a huge
Alex
get up
Killorn,
pace
Andre
there
Palat.
too.
I mean, obviously lose all that. I think they'll be able to find guys to fit the mold because you have at least 4 or 5 really good players right now. Um, and they'll have some young guys pop in, eventually find ones that work, but they got to get stronger on that defensive end.
I like to think of them as that Penguins dynasty that they had in back-to-back Cups 2016, 17. They stayed relevant for a few years, but they're getting to the end of that era right now and still trying to stay relevant over there. So um, I don't know. I think the Lightning are a lot like them.
Yeah, I think they're a lot still. I think they're still a lot closer to their prime than those Penguins have been of recent, and I think they also have the
But
best goalie in the world.
what about in 2017? I mean, Crosby and Malkin,
As long as
Letang,
they
all
don't, as long
still
as
in
they
their
don't let
prime.
you know how the Penguins let Fleury go. As long as they don't let Vazzy go, I think they'll be in contention.
But that's the thing. Sooner or later, they're gonna have to decide: are they rocking with them like the Penguins did with this core, and look at the situation we're in with 3 aging pieces, and we just brought in a 30-some-year-old defenseman in Eric Carlson. Are they going to decide to move on from maybe a Hedman or a Vasilevsky or a Stamkos, and one of them not retire at Tampa Bay Lightning? You know what I mean?
I don't see a scenario where they don't.
Maybe Cooch.
I could see Kucherov move on.
If they
Yeah,
aren't good
I
ever.
think
If they're
Stamkos
not
doesn't
good,
really.
he would be the best trade deadline. They would get so much for him at a trade deadline.
Yeah, this Braden Point, he's like an unsung hero out there as well. He's really good. I think he put up 60 goals last season.
But I think that's the kind of guy they'd want to keep.
Yeah. Sergachev and Point are your young guys building around. That's why Hagel too
Yeah.
is a good one to have. He had some good chemistry. He popped off for them last year, honestly.
Yeah.
Where'd they bring him in from? Chicago? Trade
I
deadline
was like,
acquisition.
yeah. I'm trying to think of a couple of their depth pieces they had last year.
Were you saying like
Can't really
the
think
year
of it
we
right
just
now.
played? Pat Maroon and Anthony Cirelli. Anthony Cirelli's a good piece down there.
I was gonna say Cirelli's not bad.
They brought in the guy. Didn't they bring in Tanner Youngcroak
Yeah.
or
No,
Tanner
Yonkrook's
Janot?
on
Tanner Janot.
Jano, yeah.
But not
I'm
as good
looking
as
at
it
their
once
team right
was with
now.
Killorn and Palat and Gord.
No. It's like guys like Glendening, Cirelli, Jano, Nick Paul. That guy had a good year for them last year.
Yeah, he's okay.
He's obviously nothing special.
Kept his name in the lineup.
Yeah.
I think it's that lack of defensive depth. Like I said, like what are some names on the back end there? And they had injuries too with Hedman and Sergachev. I think it's like Chernak was there, right?
Their team I'm looking at their roster this year. It's Bogosian, Chernak, Calvin
The
DeHaan, Victor Hedman, Sergachev, and then just a bunch of guys I've never heard of.
Yeah, besides those top two, there's really nobody back there that is any
Yeah.
good. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think they'll be relevant in cup contending for that whole Hagel contract.
Vasilevsky is going to be 30 by the end of this year.
He's still young. He's got probably 6 years, 7 years left to be in
Yeah,
one of the best goalies in
goalies
the
are
league.
usually pretty decent in age.
The hips start to go.
Yeah,
His first
especially when you're that
surgery.
big.
His first surgery. You'll know that it's the end.
I'll tell you what though, there's never a bad time to bet Tampa Bay Lightning with that Stanley Cup futures bet. You know they'll always be in the hunt and make the playoffs. Probably get it at pretty good odds nowadays too. I bet you they're at least the 5th or 6th team.
I bet they're even higher than that.
You think? I don't know.
Let's find out.
I was gonna say I'll look at
5 through
I'm pulling
7 is my estimate.
They are 7th at plus 1,400.
See, it's not bad. Bad bet. You know they'll be there in the postseason.
Avs,
I have them at
850.
11.
Really?
Yeah. 2,000.
I have a plus
Dang.
2,000 as well, Mackie.
Canes 800, Leafs 900, Devils 900, Avs 1,000, Oilers 1,000, Knights 1,200, Rangers 1,300, Stars 1,400, Panthers 1,600, Bruins 1,600, and then Lightning at plus 2,000.
Yeah,
See, I have
Mackie, you on top.
Pens and Rangers at 2,000.
See, I'll tell
Gotta
you.
go book shopping for futures.
I want to put.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
I want to put
I have
this
Pens at
onto the
28
record
to
though.
1.
I would not take the Vegas Golden Knights to go back to back. I think they got
No,
theirs.
no,
They're not going to win
no
again for
way.
a while.
I don't
agree.
think they'll go back to back, but I mean that
They'll be
they have a good
competing,
core.
but they won't win it.
No, I don't think they ever will be. I think they've overachieved by what they've done these past few years. Kudos to them, but I think that they're going to run up their luck soon enough. As a young West gets better too.
Let's get into some football.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's shift our focus over to the NFL. First one I got here. The Indianapolis Colts have given running back Jonathan Taylor permission to seek a trade. Curious to hear what team you could see targeting this young running back going into this season.
I saw on ESPN today, or I got an ESPN article, there was supposedly 6 teams that have reached out to the Colts and 2 that have made legitimate offers for him. Tried to look and dig and see if I could find out what any of the teams were. Didn't see anything. No luck finding that. But a team that I'd be excited to see him go to. I'll give you one in the NFC and in the AFC. Mackie, the NFC. I'm going to go with your Dallas Cowboys. I'd like to see them go out and get them. Obviously, they could perhaps be one of the favorites to come out of the NFC. I know running backs haven't been too valued heavily lately in this offseason, but I think if Jonathan Taylor goes down there and steps into that already pretty elite offense, takes some pressure off of Dak in the passing game, I like that fit in Dallas. And then the other one, I like him to go to Buffalo and step in there as well. They've never had a really true number one running back. And go get a guy like Jonathan Taylor. Same thing. Helps out Josh Allen in the run game and the pass game. So those are just 2 teams I'd like to see Jonathan Taylor go to.
Ace, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking this new mute button's harder to figure out, but I'll get to it one day. Yeah, no, but with Jonathan Taylor, I mean, I think it's pretty crazy that he's requesting a trade now. Honestly, my personal take is that he ends up staying in Indianapolis and they work this out. They'll probably end up giving him the most money out of anybody. And I don't see any trade package being good enough to entice them away from him, especially in a weak division. I know the Jaguars are on the come up, and the Titans and the Texans are looking to get stronger, but it's really wide open in my opinion. But I think that a good team for him to end up with would be the Miami Dolphins. Why not? I mean, they just got Dalvin Cook to the Jets. They just got Ezekiel Elliott to the Patriots. And imagine if the Dolphins, with all the star power that they have, they could work out a way to bring him in and join that arms race of elite or former elite running backs in the AFC East.
I like them. I like him going to the Dolphins. Huff, I don't think he's going to come to Dallas because Dallas just spent all this money. What are they going to go do? Overpay a running back when they have just put all their chips in on Tony Pollard? I think he'd be a good fit. It just doesn't fit what we're going for right now and with our money situation. I'd like to see him in Miami though. Miami with all that offensive star power already, throw probably a top 5 running back in the league right in there. They could be pretty damn good.
Good stuff there, boys. Let's shift it down south. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers officially named Baker Mayfield as their starting quarterback for Week 1. Not really a surprise here, I don't think, but any comments on this one?
They'll win
I
4
think it was
games
more of a
this year.
I was gonna say, I think it was more of a surprise that this wasn't. I mean, I don't know if it was a surprise that it wasn't a given because there was reports that he was having a legitimate quarterback battle with Kyle Trask down there.
Kyle
at
Trask.
Kyle
Bucs
Trask,
training
shout
camp,
out the
so.
Florida Gators GOAT, dude. They should have went to the college football playoffs, but the guy threw his shoe. Remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either.
Against LSU, it cost them the chance to go to the SEC championship, and it was 3rd down, and they made a crucial stop. The cornerback on the Gators took the shoe of a player on offense and threw it. It got an unsportsmanlike conduct, 15 yards, 1st down, Florida loses the game now, and then Florida misses the SEC championship. Kyle Pitts never plays again for Florida. He sits out the remaining games, and they don't go to the college football playoffs. Kadarius Toney was on that team. Kyle Trask, that was a
Yeah, I
crazy
knew
one.
Kadarius Toney was on that team.
They were a
I
wagon
just
too,
didn't know
What
that
could
college
have
was the
football.
been?
They were a wagon, but no. I mean, yeah, that's crazy though. But Baker Mayfield got to watch out for the backdoor covers now. You know he loves those fourth quarter comebacks.
He loves
Usually
them.
falls
He
up
loves
short.
them. In games where he's really not has no business being in, just throwing a late touchdown to cover a 12.5-point spread.
I was gonna say he's gonna be getting a lot of big spreads down there as a buck with that team. I think.
At least he likes to chuck the rock up, though. I'm a big Mike Evans guy, and
I was gonna
hopefully
say he has options.
he has a big
Rashad
arm
White out of the
too.
backfield. I don't think he's bad. I like him.
He likes to play in shootouts, so you could watch for Evans and Godwin to blow up a bit this year. Because he'll throw his turnovers. He'll throw like 300, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 3 picks. But
Yeah.
It's a terrible division too. So you win a few games you're not supposed to, and you could find your way in the hunt with 7 wins going into week 18.
it's funny though because I'm high on these young teams. I really like what the Falcons have. A lot of young options on offense. Whether or not they pan out is the question. But look at you got Ritter, you got Bijan, you got Drake London and Kyle Pitts. I mean, they're all supposed to be pretty good. So that's who I'm hoping pans out. But I don't know if I'm betting anything on them
I think the Saints will win the division, but
just because they're the
with
most
9
sound
wins.
veteran team.
They have the
Yeah, I
most.
like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That's the safe
And the,
pick.
the defense to back it up as well.
We were talking about that divisional odds a few weeks ago. Last time I was on, I remember they were still at everybody's plus to win that division, so it might not be a bad bet to look into the New Orleans Saints to take home that division.
Plus 130, I think they're at.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I got him at plus 130. I did take that actually.
Derek Carr, the only quarterback with winning experience. Be interesting. We'll talk about that as we get closer.
I do like the value on the Falcons to win that division though, but I'm going with the Saints. I'm just taking the Saints. I thought the same thing. I was like they should be at least like closer to even, but plus 130, I'll take it.
And the Falcons are a sleeper team. I mean, they could pop off and like nobody's business, especially with how bad the NFC is.
They have the highest ceiling and the lowest floor. They could be so good. They could be pretty good or really bad.
You think they have the lowest floor? I think lowest floor in the division's got to be the Bucks. It's got to be, right?
Bucks are definitely the lowest. I think
but
they have the potential to win 2 games this year.
But literally all 4 teams have the potential to win the division.
I don't think the Bucks really do.
Defense.
I'd say the other 3.
They're not even good. None of them are actually good. So literally,
No, but the Bucks don't really have anything going for them.
defense.
I think the Saints could be pretty good.
But they don't even have the best defense in the division.
No, I don't think
Who?
so either. But I'm saying like
Bucks.
they have championship pedigree on their defense. I mean, I take that into
Yeah.
account a little bit.
They had Tom Brady on the team.
But the defense played well. Remember, they won some games for him.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I don't know. That wasn't the backbone of that team.
Shaq Barrett, Devin White, Levante David, Vita Vey. Those are a good front 7 at least, especially against inexperienced offenses. But I don't expect much from them. I don't. The Panthers are a really weird team. So many question marks, coaching question marks. That scares me a bit. Is the coaching. But the Falcons high ceiling, but is Ritter good? Derek Carr. I mean, it's got to be Derek Carr and the Saints, really, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's gotta be.
Yeah.
You gotta give it to Derek Carr.
The defense is solid, right? Solid defense out there. Lattimore, Demario Davis. Got a few other guys, right?
I personally am starting to think Bryce Young might not be that good.
I haven't seen it. You gotta. We'll revisit that week 4.
Yeah, like why?
I
Just 'cause
think
how
he's
tiny
gonna
he is.
no that and
He can't
I think
see
he's
over
in a
his
tough
line.
His line's not good either, so
he
he's going to
can't
be
see
in a
over
tough
him.
situation from week 1. Like
Who's their ball carrier too?
Chuba Hubbard.
That rookie Bigsby.
Did they draft him? I don't know.
Yeah. Yep. Tank Bigsby. I believe is his name.
Yeah, I don't know. Panthers might have a tough year.
But
They
their
have a good
defense is up
defense,
and
but-
coming. Brian
They have
Burns.
Brian Burns, and
Jace
J.C. Horn.
Huff, did you know on the outside
know.
though? Think about that Falcons defense a little bit. They have Jeff Okuda and AJ Terrell with Jesse Bates. That's a pretty nasty secondary. Grady Jarrett
Yeah,
on the
and
D
then-
line.
I forget who. They have another dude on the D line that I can't remember his name right now.
Well, they have that linebacker who's really good. What's his name? Oh, we had one of our callers call into the show and bring him up. It was my uncle. He told me about it. He's like, He's like, "Oh, you forgot him? Is it Deion Jones, the linebacker?"
Yeah, I was gonna say, is he still there? I didn't
Yeah,
think he was still there.
I believe he
The
is.
Steelers play the Falcons tomorrow. Hold on, I'm looking at their roster. Let me see if I can find it.
But on the
Defense.
other side of the ball, I know we hate on Kyle Pitts a lot on this podcast, but he has the potential. It's there. Drake London's really good in my opinion. You have Bijan Robinson with Cordarrelle behind them and LJR. I don't really know who their number 2 receiver is. Might be the guy with the long last name.
The Falcons now have Bud Dupree.
Yeah, he's not bad.
I didn't know that. Yeah, Jeff Okuda, AJ Terrell, Jesse Bates.
That's nasty.
They have
AJ
they have
Terrell, one of those sleeper cornerbacks that could be one of the best in the league.
Grady Jarrett, and it's Inechkawu is the dude I was thinking of. I knew I was never going to be able to say that name.
It's crazy. But yeah, give me the Saints on the Bucks. We'll take it right there. Hit the Bucks with the Saints.
Alrighty, boys. The Baltimore Ravens preseason win streak has officially come to an end, losing 29-28 to the Washington Commanders on Monday night. The Ravens win streak spanned back to 2015, something like 24 preseason games. Does that sound right? Something like that. What are you guys thinking about this?
And it
Fuck-
came to
fuck
an end
this
to the
Fuck
streak
all
of
this
the
shit.
the streak killers, the Washington Commanders, left hand up. They got it done again. They took down my 11-0 Steelers. They took down the 8-0 Eagles. They took down the 24-0 Ravens. The Washington Commanders are the summer Super Bowl champions coming into this. I don't know if you guys saw them celebrating after the game. They were hyped to win that one. They truly acted like that kick was sending them to the playoffs, not into maybe week 1. I don't even know if they have another regular season game left, but all vibes are high in Washington. New owner. You saw his handshake on Monday Night Football. That was the most awkward handshake thing I've ever seen in my life with Joe Buck. I don't know if any of you guys saw that.
Joe
Have you
Buck
seen the clips?
wasn't
He
going
wasn't
for
even
the
going for a
handshake.
handshake. Yeah, he wasn't going for a handshake. And Josh Harris looks at him, reaches his hand out and just shakes it, and then realizes it was not, and then he puts his hands on his hips. That was too
It's a
funny,
brutal
but
watch. It's a brutal
yeah,
watch.
I don't know. The funniest part was when he went down on the field, when they were about to win the game, he was down on the field. I'm like, do they really think this is like a playoff game?
Yeah, that's the best they're gonna get this season. They're gonna win 5 games this year and just figure out about that name for next season. But I bet on the Ravens, and this is just punt the ball. It's 4th and 12 in your own end zone.
I had to take it.
It's
I told you.
preseason.
I was gonna say. I told you. I was like, I liked Washington, but that 1.5 was tough. As soon as I got that 6.5 points, I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy how the Commanders played their starters into the third quarter. You're just
I
risking
did say they
injury.
were gonna do that, though. I did say they were gonna do that. I said
Into
they're
the
the only
third
team that's been playing their
quarter's
starters
nuts.
through halftime.
Yeah, that's nuts. Josh Johnson held his own though. That's kind of crazy. Tough loss though. I mean, I was on it as well, Mackie, but you had to ride the streak. I got enough juice out of it though, where it worked out, I guess.
With that, boys, we go to ESPN. Stephen A. Smith made allegations on ESPN's First Take talking about how wide receiver Stephon Diggs was not happy with his current situation in Buffalo. Diggs quickly took to Twitter to put those rumors to sleep, saying that he is Bills Mafia through and through. What do you guys think about this one?
Catching shots all over the place on
He really
social
is.
media between this
Yeah,
and the
you see
Lonzo Ball
Zoe?
thing. Yeah, and then did you see what Stephen A. Smith said this morning back to Lonzo?
No, but I
He
saw
was
the
like-
MJ
He
Steph.
goes, "What'd you say?"
I saw something about his MJ and Steph.
Yeah,
or
MJ
Mag-
texted him and said Magic Johnson's the best point guard ever, not Steph Curry. But we'll
Yeah.
deal with that later. So Stephen A. Smith said, I have a screw in my knee, and you guys see me running around this studio. That doesn't mean I can go out there and play basketball. And they're like, he goes, standing up and down from a chair, sitting by the pool does not mean you can play an NBA game. He goes, if you are healthy, let me see you running up and down a court or whatever. And I mean, I kind of agree with him. Lonzo's saying he's healthy. It's like,
Not,
yeah,
no,
dude,
he's
you're just
not. He
standing
literally,
up.
he's just saying that he. Stephen A. said he cannot stand up out of a chair, and he showed that he clearly could do it. I mean, he didn't say he can go play in an NBA game.
Well, that's I mean I don't know. I just think it's a funny story because Stephen A's catching shots from everything, and then the Stephon Diggs stuff. Everyone's kind of saying, "Let me hear your sources," but then he said the same thing back to Stephon Diggs this morning too. I saw it was like, all I'm saying is he said he expressed feelings to people close to him, and it got to me. And like, you know how Stephen A delivers it like a total asshole. He's like, it's not
Yeah.
my fault, but this is just how it is. It's like, I mean, I
I mean,
I, I
he's
don't
re-
think it was. Go ahead.
like that's what he does. He reports news. I mean, he's not going to say things that he hears about. It's going to
Yeah,
draw
exactly.
attention. So I mean, it's nothing against him, but I don't know. I like Stephen A.
Stuff, boys. The Titans. Will Levis has. This is such a weird one. Will Levis has signed a lifetime deal with Hellman's Mayonnaise after being a big mayo and coffee drinker. I read that he doesn't actually do this, but he has publicly done it as a joke multiple times and sips the coffee without cringing. Just like takes the mayonnaise and just like the squirt bottle, squirts it in this coffee and drinks it. That's just whacked.
That's
But
nasty. I mean, I feel like
but
he's been planning this tandem partnership for a while with the way he's going about it. Why else are you doing that?
exactly right. It's funny. I think it's all good.
Worked out.
Works out. I mean, he's not a
Seriously.
starting quarterback, and he's getting a nice sponsorship right there, so can't complain.
Mayo kind of creeps me out, so I'm not a big fan of this.
Yeah, me too. I would. You know something?
Not a
It's one
big
of those
fan.
things that you get on now that I'm older, if I get on a sandwich, I still eat it. I'm like, it's actually not that bad, but I never go out of my way to
I
order
will
it
never
or
go out of
add
my
it.
way to use it.
Oh,
Yep.
I like
Yep.
mayo. Mayo with
I
on
like
a
mayo.
ham and
Ew,
cheese.
that sounds
Mm,
disgusting.
Yeah. All right, well,
good.
don't
Very
yuck
good.
my yum, bro.
The mayo,
Yeah,
All right.
I'm
homemade
definitely
mayo.
more of a
Jesus.
mustard guy.
Alrighty, up to Seattle. The Seahawks rookie wide receiver JSN. I'm not going to try to say his name is out 3 to 4 weeks thanks to today's wrist surgery. This injury comes at a tough time for the Ohio State product. Seahawks without their rookie wide receiver for the first few weeks. What are you guys thinking about this?
Tough
I was
time of the year
excited
for
to
this to
see him
happen.
yeah, I was excited to see him and Metcalf start the season out and see what they kind of could do with Geno Smith coming to this year. This Seattle team that no one had expectations for last year, and this year, I mean, I'm hearing people pick them to win the division, so I'm very excited to see how they start out. But yeah, I think it's a tough blow. Obviously, I was excited to see him up there with Geno. But Ace, go ahead.
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday when it happened. We were saying now this really opens the door for Tyler Lockett to regain the spotlight that he always shines in. However, I think this is just a tough spot for Jackson Smith and Jigba. I really hate to see this for a young guy because now you got to wonder, is this something that's going to linger all year? He's missing the vital weeks of practice right before the season starts, learning the playbook, etching on his role as the number two or even number one pass catcher if he's their slot guy. But yeah, hopefully this is something you can overcome pretty quickly.
Yeah, terrible way to start your career in your rookie season, but he's athletic and he's young enough to come back from this. Guy out of Ohio State, he knows how to win. So I think he'll come back stronger.
I just hope it's not a nagging injury, especially the way Geno Smith plays football. He would have been a great asset for the Seahawks to have. But that team is always dealing with so many injuries to the young guys. Remember Kenneth Walker the third last year, his rookie season dealing with injuries too. I mean, maybe it's just that Seattle air. Hand injury for a receiver though, you hate to see it. Wrist injury, I should say.
Alrighty, let's get into our positional power ranking in the NFL. This week, we're excited to talk about our top 5 head coaches coming into this season. Who wants to get us rolling on this one?
I can get us started here if we want to. I know mine. There's a lot of honorable mentions I wish I could throw in there. I know I was talking to my brother before this. He's like, "Got to throw John Harbaugh in there." I'm like, "No, I'm not," but he's a good coach. So my top 5. I'll start off with one honorable mention. I'll give it to my guy Mike Vrabel. I think he's on the come up right there. He's got a tough team around him, but he still continues to find success. But getting into mine here. Number 5, Doug Peterson, down in Jacksonville, already has a championship to his name, and look at what he's done with Trevor Lawrence in just 1 year. I think he's just going to continue to grow on his career. At number 4, the only guy on my list without a Super Bowl title, but he's been there a few times, is Kyle Shanahan, one of the younger coaches in the league. I love the coaching tree that he has coming off of him, and just the way he calls the game, an offensive mastermind. And look at what he's doing with that star-studded offense out in San Francisco. There's a reason they went and got him from Atlanta. Coming at number 3, much to the Yinzers' surprise, I have Mike Tomlin on the list. Got to give a shout out to the Pittsburgh guy. Love the way that he coaches his team, a true players coach, kind of like Pete Carroll, but in a different way, if you know what I'm saying. But I'll take him every time. Guys never had a losing record, I don't think. How can you name that anything else? Guys love playing for him. They always speak about it. And also he has a championship, so you really can't hate on that. At number 2, people might have him at 1 right now because of recency bias, but Andy Reid, I know that he has Patrick Mahomes, but he's in the Super Bowl year in and year out. He's going to be for a while. And he has a great coaching tree as well. Been in the league forever, been doing it forever. So give that guy a cheeseburger and he'll get you a ring. He's my number 2. And at number 1, I got to have the GOAT, Bill Belichick. Don't even need to say anything else. Best coach of all time. Pretty long, but that's my list there. I don't know what you guys think about that or have to say about yours.
I'll go next. Yeah, that's a good list. Yeah, I'll slide in here next. So I have a pretty similar list. I have an honorable mention, and I'm going to slide in here to Mike Vrabel. I wanted to put him in here, but the one that I ended up putting it for was who I kind of was forgetting, and ended up having to throw him in there with the Super Bowl in the recent couple years. So number 5, I do have Kyle Shanahan in there. A lot of people are going to have him, could have him higher. I see why. What he's done with the 49ers offense over the past couple of years, what he does with what he has to work with. We've seen what he did with Purdy last year and what he's done with all the different guys in San Francisco. So Kyle Shanahan, number 5. Number 4, I do have Sean McVay. That's the one I was talking about, the Super Bowl championship with the LA Rams. We're one of the young coaches that does have the ring already. So I'm going to go with Sean McVay at number 4. My guy Mike T at number 3. Belichick 2, Andy Reid 1. I do have Andy Reid at number 1 for the consistent fact that he did it with the Eagles, he did it with the Chiefs, and now he's all the NFC championships, all the AFC championships. He's just consistently there every year. So recency bias, I do have to put Andy Reid there for the top 5 coaches coming into this season.
Huff, we have very similar lists. I'm gonna go with as an honorable mention, McDaniel down in Miami. I mean he's young, but he's kind of in the same boat as Kyle Shanahan. Just haven't really proved it as much, and he's gonna be there for a while. I think so. I just want to shout him out a little right there before he can get in my top 5. But number 5, I'm gonna go Sean McVay. Like you said, recent Super Bowl right there kind of puts him in my top 5. Young guy really knows what he's doing with that team. Number 4, I'm going Kyle Shanahan. In my opinion, this guy is probably the top 2 smartest people in NFL history. He knows the game better than pretty much anyone, and he still has a lot more years under him as well. Number 3, I'm going to go Mike Tomlin as well. It just proves year in and year out that he can't have a losing record. He's got a few Super Bowls over there as well. I think he has more than one, but
He just has the one.
okay. Well, he can prove that he can win, and he's never had a losing record. So there's that.
2 AFC championships. He won one. We beat the Cardinals. He lost to the Packers.
Right. Number 2, I'm gonna go Bill Belichick. Gotta give the recency bias to Andy Reid in number 1, but yeah, two goats right there, Andy Reid and Bill Belichick.
Mackie, we literally have the same list. I just gave McVay the edge with the ring.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said I was like, it's basically the same as mine.
Mine's very, very similar. 5, Kyle Shanahan. 4, Sean McDermott. 3, Mike Tomlin. 2, Billy Belichick. And 1, Andy Reid. Just got to give credit where credit's due to those top 2. Can't go wrong. Bill Belichick's great.
Do you know how many rings Bill Belichick has?
Yeah, Tom Brady has 7.
I think Bill Belichick has like 11 or 13.
I loved Bill Belichick. I really did, but he has not proved one thing since Tom Brady has left. He hasn't even won a playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't you say that about Andy Reid with Patrick Mahomes?
But he did it with the Eagles too.
He won playoff games with the Eagles.
Did he have a Super Bowl though?
He went to the Super Bowl with the Eagles.
Does Bill Belichick have a head coaching Super Bowl without Tom Brady?
No, not head coach. His only head coaching been in New England. But that's over 20-something years. It's crazy. Whenever you have these arguments, it's always funny because people are like, "Oh, Brady had Belichick," and then when you have the other argument, it's like Belichick had Brady. It's so
well, Brady left and won, and Belichick.
No, I know. But
you
should hear the Brady. That's what people use as the Brady argument too. I think it's a combination of both.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not taking anything really away from Bill Belichick, but
what was I gonna say? Some other name. I'm surprised you guys have Sean McDermott up there. My brother said that to me as well, but I'm like, what has he won? I don't know. I think they should go further with the talent they have. I think he's a talent-driven team. I'm surprised no one else gave Doug Peterson love, but you guys do hate the Eagles, I guess.
Yep.
Is that why?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, you can definitely put him up there, but there's also, I mean, you can also put.
I wrote down in
top
my
5
notes,
guys I say ahead
Mackie.
of him.
I'm happy you said Mike McDaniel because I wrote in my notes some up and coming guys. I just want to call out 3 of them. I think Brian Daboll, really good head coach as well. Great offensive coordinator. What he did with that Giants team, I thought they were dog shit, and they went to the playoffs and won a game. Mike McDaniel, and then I like Matt LaFleur up in Green Bay. I'm eager to see what he can do without Aaron Rodgers in the way.
Yeah, I'm a big McDaniel fan. I love him.
He's a Shanahan tree, right?
Yeah.
I like those lists right there. I value the winning and championship pedigree a lot, though. That's why John Harbaugh and Pete Carroll, those guys, I might put the honorable mention. I went with the Vrabel because I like the way he coaches, players coach like Tomlin. But personally, I think Carroll and Harbaugh are probably ahead of him because they both have those rings and they're always in the hunt. Harbaugh went,
Pete Carroll is definitely right outside for me as well.
especially look at what he did last year without Russell Wilson.
Exactly, yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was a Patriots head coach for a while. He's been doing it forever. He brought a new mantra to coaching in the NFL. He's the true, not like Vrabel and Tomlin where he's like a dog and they're basically players that are coaching, but he's like builds a great atmosphere there. Harbaugh too. I mean, look at he coached a transition between Joe Flacco, this white pocket passer, and Lamar Jackson, new era running quarterback, and he's had success with both. That's nuts to me.
Bro, the Phillies are about to fucking come back again. This is ridiculous. Oh my God, it's 5-5.
Bryce Harper right here. Yeah, I'm watching it. Bang.
Alrighty, boys, good stuff. Next week, we'll wrap up this segment with our top 5 teams heading into the 2023 NFL season. We're just 15 days away from kickoff on Thursday. Real excited.
Are you struggling with a lack of access to captivating entertainment and media? Are you faced with constant judgment and ridicule from friends and family for your inability to respond appropriately to sensitive situations? If this sounds like you might be suffering from being emotionally dead inside. But it's not too late to make a change. One Nothing Podcast is a newly available treatment for being dead inside. Taken just once every 2 weeks, One Nothing could make a world of difference. By combining carefully measured dark humor to the amazing original formula of grisly fatalities, One Nothing Podcast has successfully entertained thousands of people suffering from death inside. And with access across all podcast platforms, treatment has never been more readily available. But don't trust my word. Here's some real-world testimonials from a few of our listeners currently undergoing treatment.
From consistent doses of One Nothing Podcast, my posture has greatly improved due to being kept on the edge of my seat.
The One Nothing Podcast comes on, everybody be like, shut the f*** up. I be quiet, but when the episode's over, I be talking again.
Oh my gosh, buddy. I used to be on so many medications for blood pressure, and then I listened to One Nothing Podcast's episode on Kitty Genovese, moved into an apartment on my own, and haven't needed it since. That one really got my blood pumping.
You know, listening to One Nothing Podcast, I'm not constipated anymore. I'm just full of shit.
So what's stopping you from great entertainment?
One Nothing Podcast is not intended for all audiences. Listeners under 18 years of age should obtain permission from your parent or guardian before downloading. Tell your therapist if you're predisposed to whining, complaining, reading podcasts poorly, being overall combative, or being easily offended, as One Nothing Podcast might not be right for you.
So stop letting great content pass you by. Talk to your therapist today to see if One Nothing Podcast is right for you.
Let's jump over to the NBA. The NBA is fining James Harden $100,000 for the comments he made last week at his basketball camp in China in regards to Daryl Morey and the Philadelphia 76ers. Does anybody have what he said?
I
He just
said it
said
last
that-
week. It was like he'll never
That's
play
right.
for a team run by him or whatever. Yeah, we were talking about
That
it last
stuff,
week,
yeah.
but they just announced that he got fined for it. So tough
He don't
scene. Still
care.
probably, yeah. I don't think it's a big deal for him,
does
but
He throws
Go ahead, Mike.
$100,000 at those strip clubs.
yeah, I don't.
Little
I
baby.
don't think that's hurting him too much, but yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing him back in Philly personally. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting because they have the power over him. I mean, like I said, if he doesn't play this year, they can hold him from becoming a free agent or something. I heard on with something. It's in the new NBA CBA. So a little tough situation over there for Harden in Philly.
I found out why he was mad too. Daryl Morey said if you opt in your player option, then he'll be traded immediately. And then he opted in, and they said, "You're not leaving." Get played.
Alrighty, that's all we got here in the NBA this week. Let's jump over to the MLB. Start us off. I got our power rankings for this week of August 21st, 2023. At number 5, the Tampa Bay Rays. Number 4, the Texas Rangers. Number 3, the Baltimore Orioles. Number 2, the Los Angeles Dodgers. And number 1, the Atlanta Braves.
Dodgers in it too.
Yeah, very similar to our last week's list. Dodgers moving up from the 3rd spot. Orioles moving down to that 3rd spot. What are you guys thinking? Pretty good rankings this week as we get closer to the NFL and other seasons.
It's crazy how consistent the Atlanta Braves are, huh?
Best team in the league. Lineup doesn't have a weak spot, so it doesn't surprise me how consistent they can be.
Especially, what about Mackey? You really wanted those M's to get in after they had a hot week. The M's, Rangers, and Astros all could be in there within one game of each other. I think a half a game even. It's craziness.
Yeah, it's why you kind of got to give it to the division leader at the moment. But I mean, by this time next week, I think we'll see either the Astros or the Mariners in that one spot. The Rangers are playing some bad baseball right now, and I definitely don't see them in our top 5 for next week's power rankings.
It's crazy too. Aren't the Twins really securing that AL Central?
Yeah, but they're still only like 6 games. They're 3 games over. Yeah, there's no way they're really cracking.
Do we try and think from a Twins perspective? What's their recipe for success if they get to the postseason? Get healthy and then get really good starts from Joe Ryan, Ober, and Sonny Gray.
Yeah, I mean their bullpen needs to carry a lot of workload because they really don't have the depth in the pitching. I guess you can say those 3 guys can get the job done, but they're definitely all sitting at sub 3.5 ERAs, nothing crazy. But this team just needs to hit a run at the right time, to pull like what the Phillies did last year, even though the Phillies were even a better team than this Twins team is. But I mean, you need guys like Carlos Correa, who you're paying all this money to step up. Guys playing terrible baseball all season. You need
Byron
these guys
Buxton to get off the injured list.
Yeah, exactly. You need him back and stuff. You just need these names to step up a little. They're going to find their way into the playoffs in such a weak division, but it matters what they can do with it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch play out. But I know we have some more points to go over some of these top teams with not much movement in the power rankings this week.
Good stuff, boys. My next point here in the MLB is Eddie Rosario becomes the 7th player of the this year's Atlanta Braves to reach the 20 home run threshold as the Braves continue to rack up the accolades this season. Those Braves just continue to pound on the rest of this league. What are you guys thinking? They are, it's currently locked. I can't see the odds, but they're currently leading the leaderboard to win the World Series. What are you guys thinking here?
Yeah, we just kind of talked about how stacked this lineup is, and 7 players to reach 20 home runs is. I don't even know if the Mets have 2, but it's pretty crazy that a team like this is just performing so well, all clicking at the same time. They can have 3 guys have a bad night, top 3 guys have a bad night, and they can still put up 6 runs every night. So, it's just this team is one of the best teams we've seen in recent history.
Like Mackie said, that lineup's so complete. Even with like interchangeable parts, you have Travis Dearnard, and he can play for Sean Murphy, the All-Star, when he's not so hot, or give your catchers days off. I know the pitching, they're digging deep into the system to get some young arms with some injuries, but that hitting, there's constant pressure throughout the lineup, night in and night out. That's why you're seeing so many guys with 20 plus home runs, because every time you're up to pitch, you're a guy that just came out of the pen. You got 2 guys on in scoring position with no outs, because you have names like, how many All-Stars they have this year? 7, something like that. So that makes these players around them even better, and they come up in clutch spots, and they're getting the job done, feeding off the energy that Ronald Acuna gives to the whole lineup.
Like we keep saying, that Braves team is at the top of our power rankings each and every week. They're there for a reason. Next one here, Elly De La Cruz has 10 homers and 20 steals through 64 games this season, the quickest ever to reach that mark. Sitting just a half a game out, can the young Reds team get to the postseason? Curious to hear what you guys think.
Yes.
I don't think they get in.
Who do you think? Who do you think edges them out?
I think the Phillies and the Cubs will definitely be in. I kind of think the Giants, but they're just playing terrible baseball right now. The Reds halfway through the season, even at the All-Star break, I think they maybe had a chance, but I mean, their true colors are showing. De La Cruz still having a pretty good season. He just doesn't have enough quality at bats. These guys are just they're big names that just aren't having enough quality at bats, and over a span of time, it's just not going to work out for a team like that. Um, the NL race it's tight, but it's kind of weak. All these teams are like 3 games over 500. They don't really need to be winning every night to still have a chance. So I'm not going to count them out just yet, but I think a few of these teams could definitely squeak out in front of them.
Yeah, Mackie, it's funny that you say the Giants because I think we went to this topic just before the All-Star break started, and you guys both lean towards the Giants making it. I'm gonna stick with the Reds. I think they're electric, and like you said, you only have to play just above 500 baseball to get in with the landscape of the wild card race right now. And I think they can do that. They have enough power throughout the lineup. Spencer Steer, Matt McLean, Ellie De La Cruz. They brought up CES, but they have like a lot of guys that can pop off when needed. I know their pitching is not too great, but I'm not high on the Giants. I think the Marlins fade out a little bit. I'm not even that high on the Cubs, but yeah, I think
But the D-backs,
Phillies are they're another team. They're in that same boat. Like I'm higher on them than I am the Giants, but I know they're a little bit further back.
Not anymore. They're ahead.
Really?
They're in the wild card spot right now. They're 8-2 in their last 10. So
Yeah,
they're playing some good baseball.
Remember when we were talking about them earlier in the year? I think they might have already went through that low stretch. Hopefully they don't hit another and they'll find themselves there. But I think they have more potential than those teams listed. I like the Reds and the Diamondbacks after the Phillies to get into the wild card.
You don't have any love for this Cubs team?
No, not too much. Not high
I
on
just
their
think they have the
staff.
best. I think they have the best roster up and down out of these like bubble teams right here.
They're the most
Who?
veteran of them.
The Cubs.
Yeah, I like the Cubs to get in. I think the Cubs. I think the Cubs will sneak in.
They have the best pitching out of all of them, I'd say too.
You think?
Diamondbacks are carried by Zach Gallen, so maybe you could say them with their backups. But Steele has like the lowest ERA in the league, and then you have like,
Italian stinks.
yeah,
Assad, he's okay.
Like I don't think Stroman's healthy right now.
Stroman's done for the year.
Is he?
I think so. He's been out for deep too. Let me read.
Yeah, but you're riding the coattails of Steele right now. He's got like a sub-2 ERA, so
It'd be nice if they get to a 1-game playoff and they can roll him out though.
yeah, he's second highest ERA or second lowest ERA in the league behind Blake Snell.
He's out
Who's back?
indefinitely. Stroman with a fractured rib or some shit.
Tyon needs to definitely pick it up.
Yeah, for sure.
Good stuff, boys. Another point here in the MLB. Julio Rodriguez becomes the second player in MLB history with 4 consecutive 4-hit games. Very impressive feat there. You guys got any comment on that one?
Yeah, guy's pretty good.
Yeah, he had another chance to he had another pretty big moment today to hit a grand slam. I think, or bases loaded, or I think he had runners on the corner. I can't remember, and I think he struck out. So,
I just grounded it up to the pitcher.
Is that what it was? Yeah, I did. I wasn't
Yes.
really watching. I just saw him up to bat, and then I turned away because it was during when I was working. But, and then what was the stretch? Was this during the stretch? Whenever I was seeing the graphic that he was literally outproducing the Yankees for like a 4-game stretch.
He was doing way more than that. He was batting like 776.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Did you see the graphic? It was like in the last
More
4
same
games,
hits. It was
Julio
like 17 hits.
Yeah,
in
you
the
know
last
which one
4
I'm talking
games.
about.
Yankees had 17 hits or something like that.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, damn.
Yankees-
Yeah, I guess this guy's pretty good.
Yankees are just terrible, man.
Mariners, Mackie, you're on that Mariners train. They're coming back.
I'm high on them, dude. They have a good roster. They just strike out too much, and they're figuring it out.
I think these Astros are catching their stride though.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, if you're going to go neck and neck with 2 teams playing their best, you're going to give it to the Astros. That's why I just have to hope the Astros kind of fall off a bit.
Last point I have here in the MLB is, do we think the Tampa Bay Rays can hang on to a playoff spot with the pending Wander Franco situation and Shane McClanahan out for the remainder of the season? 2 big pieces to the Tampa Bay Rays as they fall down our power rankings throughout the season. What are you guys thinking as we gear up for MLB playoffs in about 2 months here? Month here.
I'm looking at their schedule right now. I mean, yeah, they have to play Ace. They got to play your Red Sox, and outside of their division, they don't have too many matchups that really scare me too much. So I don't know, Mackie. What do you think? Is Tampa Bay going to hold on here? I'm looking at their schedule right now. Just to end the month of August, They have obviously the Rockies tonight. They're winning. Rockies tomorrow. Then they get 3 with the Yankees. Then they go to Miami, and then Cleveland, Boston. Then they get Seattle, Minnesota. Like none of those teams, other than really Boston and Seattle, kind of scare me too much.
Yeah, I don't think that they'll fall out of that spot. They have 5 games on who's right behind them. The Astros they have 4 games on the Astros, 5 on the Mariners, who are sitting in that last spot right now. I don't if they fell out after starting the season 27-3, that'll be pretty detrimental. And
Could you
the team's not.
imagine?
Yeah, that'd be one of the worst fall parts of from what I can remember at least. But the team's still good. I think they'll definitely make the playoffs. I just don't think that they're very dangerous once you get there.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
I
a good way
agree
to
with.
put it.
Even though when we least expect it, they usually pop off. You know what I mean? Like Randy Rosario, postseason player, those young guys that can come up. If they can get there, they can make some noise and they can scare a team. But I don't know. They got to stick around. They got to stick around. They keep
They
winning games.
If the season ended today, they'd be playing the Twins in the first round, which is a good matchup for them.
Great
If they
matchup.
can win a playoff series, we know what that lineup can do. So
They feed off
you know,
momentum too. So if they could
yeah.
grab a series, you never know how deep the
that's what I'm
Whoever
saying. Yeah.
whoever gets the Twins is a pretty decent matchup. I feel like out of those wild card teams.
definitely.
Same thing as like the Bucks last year. Cowboys got drawn the Bucks. It was like a walk in the park.
Yeah.
That's why I like the NBA better, where it's just 1 through 8 seeds. The top 8 teams make the playoffs. The Twins should not be in the playoffs for being 3 games over 500. All those teams in the AL trying to make it in, you got to snub out the Blue Jays, who are 14 games over. Red Sox are only 6 right now, but they'll probably finish a little better than that.
I just turned on the Rays game. They're the last leg of this parlay I need.
Randy A hit the ding.
I don't know. I took Brewers, Reds, and Rays. When Brewers were tied, Reds were up 1, and I just Rays obviously didn't start.
Judge homered 1-0 Yanks.
Damn, and just like that, you can get the Nationals at plus 220 instead of 120.
I got 130 at least.
Alrighty, let's start off our college football chat with some conference winners. Let's go through like the big 5 here. So, why don't we start with the ACC? We got Clemson coming in as the favorite at plus 145, Florida State right behind them at plus 150, Louisville plus 1,000, and North Carolina plus 1,000, North Carolina State plus 2,000. So pretty big spread there. Clemson, Florida State at the top of the ACC. What are your guys' comments on that one?
Yeah, so obviously coming into those odds, you have the two pretty much favorites, pretty even odds at 145 and 150, what I'm looking at with Clemson and Florida State. Florida State has pretty good expectations coming into this year, and Clemson obviously lost a lot, both in the draft and as well as in the transfer portal. A lot of guys on their way out from both the ACC and just Clemson as well. So Clemson, they lost guys like Ugalele, I think is how you say his name, at quarterback, going to Oregon State. So I like Florida State. I would like to see a little bit of a higher number. I was pretty surprised to see it this close. Haven't really looked at these numbers in a couple of weeks, but to see them at plus 150, I feel like people are going to be just kind of taking Clemson for the name. But I like that value you get on Florida State with the experience and the young guys that they're getting in the transfer portal this year. So I'll go with Florida State to win the ACC. I don't know the last time they've done it, so that could be a little bit of a kind of a, I don't know, not necessarily a bold statement with those odds, but I don't know necessarily the last time Florida State won the ACC, because it has been Clemson primarily run the past couple of years.
Jameis.
I feel like they might have done it snuck one in there another time, but yeah, you're probably right. That was probably the last time.
What was that, 2012 or 2014? He was with Mariota.
Some value on North Carolina
14,
though.
I
There, I'm
think.
telling you, Drake May is going to be fucking really good. They just don't have that good of a team. If he could carry them, North Carolina at 10-1 is a decent value pick to win this ACC.
Alrighty, that's good stuff in the ACC. Let's jump over to the Big Ten, my home conference here. Let's start off Ohio State leading the board at plus 170. Michigan right behind them at plus 175. My Penn State Nittany Lions at plus 550. Wisconsin behind them at plus 750. And Iowa to round out the top 5 at plus 1,200. So Ohio State and Michigan neck and neck there, plus 170, plus 175 respectively. What do you guys think's happened in the Big Ten this year?
Mac, you're an Ohio State guy. You like the Buckeyes this year?
I don't know, dude. I don't know, because obviously with Stroud leaving, you never want to trust a quarterback coming in on his first year. But I like Penn State this year, dude. I think they have a really good chance. They have good odds. I mean, if they were sitting at 175 like Michigan and Ohio State was, I probably wouldn't say it. But with the value, I think they're right there with Michigan and Ohio State. The uncertainties in Ohio State this year, obviously they're going to be a top 5 team still, but a new quarterback doesn't always mean a winning a winning team like they're supposed to be, like a number 3 team in the country. They could drop a game or two here and there, and it'll pull them out of the hunt. So I don't like the value on the plus 150 or the value on the plus 175 for Michigan, but I do like the value on Penn State with what do you say, plus 500.
550. So
Yeah,
I'm right there with you. I think I just don't think there's going to be enough going for Ohio State. I think it's the easy pick to take them as a recency bias on what they've done in the past. But between the value at Penn State at 550 plus 550 or what Michigan has done with their running game and what they have coming into this year, I think if I am taking one of those two favorites, I'm going to probably go Michigan. Just because I think they're gonna be the better team coming into this year. But I like Penn State at 550. That's probably my true pick. I like their quarterback. I think it's Drew Aller. I think is how you say his last name. Not the biggest James Franklin fan. I've said that before, but I think Penn State, they got a lot of guys back. They got a couple guys in the transfer portal. So I think big things coming out of Happy Valley this year. Coming in the season, ranked 7th overall. First week is a 20.5-point favorite against my Mountaineers. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Jesse, do you know where the Ohio State game is?
Not off the top of my head, but let me
It's
look.
I'm
it's in
assuming they're
Columbus
going to
this year.
play. It's in Columbus.
Yeah,
I
last
think
year
it
was in
is,
Ohio
yeah.
State.
Well, then
Yeah,
they'll
last
probably
year was
play
in Penn
Michigan
State.
at home.
Yeah, Michigan's in
Michigan and
Happy
Happy
Valley,
Valley.
and Ohio
Penn
State's on
State's
the
going to
road.
have a tough time going into the shoe and winning a game.
I
Very
would
tough
agree.
time.
I would agree.
I think they're better off playing in the big house than playing in the shoe. But you got to win the game at home. You got to beat Michigan at home.
It all depends how early on it is in the season. That's all that matters.
It's October 21st. It's
That's
their
perfect. That's perfect.
seventh
It's not
game.
November, December.
What, in the shoe?
No, in Ohio State.
Yeah, in the
Yeah,
shoe.
Penn
Sorry.
State at Ohio State is when?
October 21st.
Yeah, that's
No,
perfect.
dude, I think
Yeah,
you're
that's
better off playing Ohio State towards the end of the season.
when they're already like 9-0.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I see
think
what you mean.
getting them early is not what you want to see.
Well, let's keep rolling through these college football conference winners. The next up is the Big 12. The leaders in that are Texas at plus 100, Oklahoma behind them at plus 350, Kansas State at plus 500, Texas Tech at plus 1,000, and TCU rounding out the top 5 at plus 1,600.
I
So big
don't have a
spreads there. Texas just well ahead. What are you thinking of?
Yeah, I don't have a fancy pick here. I think this is the year Texas actually kind of does something with Quinn Ewers and all they get all the big recruits every year, all the 5-stars. So I think this is the year Texas finally does something before they go down to the SEC.
Maybe, but you're crazy if you bet on them. At plus
No, I
100,
wouldn't take that plus
that
100.
is
No, but I'm
insane.
telling you, I wouldn't take any of these other teams at that price personally. I don't love Kansas State at 500. Oklahoma's not going to be that great for 350 odds. And I mean, if anything, I'd try to reach on like a Texas Tech at 10-1.
TCU at 1,600. That's
Maybe
a
at
good
WVU
reach.
at 15 plus 15,000.
Yeah, that plus 15,000 to win 3 games. No, I think Texas will find a way to blow it. I don't think
Cincinnati,
Oklahoma's going to
first
be
year in
very
the
good
Big
this
12.
year. What'd you say?
I said Cincinnati, first year in the Big 12, plus 10,000.
UCF first year in the Big 12? No,
Oh,
Texas
yeah,
will
I didn't
probably
even
win
think
it, but I
about
think
that.
they'll find a way to blow it too.
Alrighty, next league up is the Pac-12. USC leading that board at plus 195. Oregon behind them at plus 310. Washington right behind them at plus 320. Utah plus 550. And Oregon State plus 1,100. What are we thinking coming out of the Pac-12 this year? USC just going to take the cake?
This has to be a trap, right? They're coming
I
off
think it
Caleb
is, but
Williams.
I'll fall into it. Just give me the one with the best quarterback.
Is
I like
is
USC.
what is it? Is Oregon supposed to be that good this year? I mean, Caleb Williams just won a Heisman. Now he's coming back to a pretty weak conference. I didn't think Oregon was
USC
all that
also
this year.
USC also Caleb Williams lost his two number one and number 2 receiver.
And be a Heisman quarterback in college football. I mean,
He's still favored to win the Heisman as well.
I like
Yeah,
Caleb
I,
Williams. I
I,
think
I like USC. I'll take USC at that price. I'll fall into the trap with that one if it is a trap.
game's got to be in Oregon.
Yeah, probably you're right. It seems a little too easy, but that's one of the ones at that price that's worth taking.
Alrighty, let's hit the SEC to round out our Power 5. Georgia is the favorite here. Our first minus odds, minus 115 for them. Alabama right behind them, plus 300. LSU plus 450. Tennessee plus 1400, with Texas A&M also at plus 1400. What are we thinking here? SEC, Georgia, also the national championship odds leader at plus 220. What are you guys thinking about this one?
Bama for the value. I would never take a conference winner at minus just because of how many things can go wrong throughout the season. But if you can get Bama at plus 300 to win a conference, I don't care what they have going on this year. They have Nick Saban and they have the best recruiting class. Give me Bama plus 300.
Yeah, that's tough because Georgia's far and away the better team in this situation. That's why they're getting that line. I'm huge on Carson Beck and Georgia coming into this year. Obviously, I think a lot of people are for the back-to-back national champion reasons. But yeah, I think it's a good spot to take Alabama or even LSU at this spot at 450. But Georgia's going to win the SEC, in my opinion.
Alrighty, why don't we jump right into the national championship odds here? Top 5 are as followed. Georgia plus 220, Alabama plus 600, Ohio State plus 700, Michigan plus 850, LSU plus 1200, USC plus 1500, and Clemson plus 1800. I went a little past the top 5 there just to give us a little more outlook. But do we see anybody other than the normal, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State winning the national championship?
LSU is good value at plus 1200.
I was gonna say LSU, Michigan's not bad at 8-1, but they blow it. Like I just can't take a future on Georgia plus 220 to win the national title.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
absurd.
Like I said, they're scheduled. They're going to be 12-0. They just have to win the SEC championship, win the first round, and they're in the national title game. Like they have to win 2 games against legit teams. I don't know. It's not exciting, but they're going to be there. Just if you can get Georgia at 220 in the national title game, though, like you're going to love that. But you're waiting all year on a plus 220 future. It's tough. I agree. I think LSU has good value. Michigan has good value, but I don't know. It's tough to say they three-peat, but I think it's very likely they do.
All righty, let's run through some of these Heisman odds here. The Heisman Trophy for this year, leading the pack, Caleb Williams at plus 500, Jaden Daniels at plus 1100, Quinn Ewers, I think that's how you say it, at plus 1300, Carson Beck plus 1400, Jordan Travis plus 1400 to round out the top 5. Caleb Williams going for 2-peat. What are we thinking, guys?
I like the value on, obviously, I just said I'm big on Carson Beck at Georgia. I think he's a freshman or sophomore coming into this year. I'm big on him. I like the value there at 14-1, and I also like the value on Quinn Ewers at 13-1. So those are the two that I'd be taking. Obviously, I'm big on Caleb Williams, and I think they win the Pac-12. But the value on Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers at 13 and 14-1 is crazy. So those would be my 2 picks there.
Alrighty, we got a lot of good stuff to look forward to as the college football season is quickly approaching, starting just here around the corner. Make sure to keep an eye out for any plays that we have as we go into the college football weekends each and every week. Some UFC news here. Sean O'Malley knocked out Aljamain. I think it's Aljamain. Knocked out Aljamain Sterling at UFC 292 to capture his first ever belt, as he is now the current bantamweight champion of the world. The highly anticipated bout lived up to the expectations inside the TD Garden in Boston. Is now the great news for the sports moving forward. What are we thinking here, Ace? At home for you. I know you're getting more into the UFC than most of us. What are you thinking?
I thought that was a great fight, and I was hyped. I was on Sugar Show ever since this was announced. I was looking forward to this fight all summer, and knocked him out in the second round. Had a great first round, very tactical. I mean, he was just like showing off that footwork and throwing so many fakes that probably made Sterling not want to wait to just attack. And what he did in the second round left his face wide open. Sugar Show knock him out. I know Mac, you rode that too. Plus 205, I got it at. That's nice.
Yeah, that was a crazy fight. I was at a bar where every single person had Sugar. Everybody bet him. So
I'm not kidding. I don't know anyone that took Aljamain Sterling.
yeah, seriously,
I
I
know
don't.
one guy that does. My buddy trains at his gym with him in Long Island, so he was devastated by that loss, but I don't think he was too shocked.
I
Quick,
was surprised to see him at that big of an underdog. Like I didn't watch the fight, and I'm obviously I'll watch the big UFC fights. That was the one I wanted to watch. I was just out and they didn't have it on, but I didn't take it. But yeah, that's obviously I don't know much about Aljamain Sterling, but the value on O'Malley there to get his first belt was crazy.
He was injured. I'm sure people knew that.
Sterling had so many like previous fights against big names though that he won though. He took out Peter Yan twice. I mean, and if it went to the ground at all, O'Malley was losing that thing. But he did a great job to stay up. I mean, you saw even before he knocked him out, he fell down early in the second round. And then he comes back up with a knockout punch. But even when he was clenched in the first round, he didn't go down to the mat, and that was the biggest thing. And it was key that he got that knockout punch in early on.
He kept his distance and just waited for his time and found an opening and just laid him out, and it was over from there. That was huge.
It was funny because that was his first big moment, like first big stage on the UFC, first title fight for him, and he looked very poised and comfortable, and he owned the moment. And he's one of those guys that looks like he's going to be in the spotlight for a while. I don't know if you guys saw, he wants to headline a fight in the winter with Conor McGregor. That'd be something to watch for sure.
Yeah, he was on McAfee yesterday. They were talking about that.
Yeah, I love betting against McGregor. So if I can get O'Malley on one card and McGregor on the other, I mean, I feel like everybody, even non-UFC people, are going to tune in as the sport continues to grow.
Do you see he also wants to knock out Gervonta Davis? He goes, he's so little.
Yeah, right. Imagine.
He goes, they go, would it be a boxing match? He goes, oh, obviously. Like being like, yeah, those guys won't come over to our sport.
Yeah, no way. The kicks that O'Malley can throw too.
Yeah, Gervonta Davis's legs don't even go that high.
I love seeing the thing that says for like 10 years ago or however long ago, it was like Sean O'Malley shaved his eyebrow for $50. Now he's bantamweight champion of the world. Crazy.
Yeah.
He got the bag.
Alrighty, we got one more point here in the soccer world because we're just a huge soccer podcast. Lionel Messi and Inter Miami took home the League's Cup this past weekend as they defeated Nashville SC in penalties after neither team could crack the 1-1 tie. Naturally, Messi scored like he has in every game with the club to date. His 10 goals this tournament led the tournament, and they awarded him best player. So Messi just doing it again and again and again. Every time we talk about him, it's just more goals, more stuff here in the U.S. Any comment on that, guys?
I just want to say, Huff,
They
like,
play tonight.
how
Make sure you get it
often
in.
have we been saying this before he even came to America? Messi to score, Miami to win. Messi to score, Miami to win.
Dude, when they tied the one game, I was pissed. What was it against? I think it was Nashville. They tied, or Philadelphia. They tied 1-1. But dude, the one I got it. It was plus 165. Him to score and them to win. They won 4-0. It was like not even close.
Yeah. It's crazy the effect he had on that team, and they were like
And he
bottom
scores the
of their
first goal every
ranking.
time. If I could bet first goal instead of any time, I'm just about to just start switching that. Because he
Plus
scores
250 for first goal.
Dang, I might.
Oh
have to
my
switch
God,
that.
Yanks are up 6-0.
No wonder Huff they gave him all that money to go there though. Like they get people like us talking about it, and the guy literally scores every game. It's craziness.
Yeah, it's electric. My brother just moved down to Fort Lauderdale, and he said, like, I asked him because he works for Publix, and that's like, remember whenever he was like spotted in a Publix, just like grocery shopping. I asked my brother if he heard about that. He was like, yeah. As soon as that picture released, we got like a massive email. I'm like, dude, that's just who he is. Like, because my brother's not huge into sports. I'm like, he is the largest athlete with the biggest following in the world right now, probably.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I'm like, he just comes to America, and he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna take over here and set up shop for a little bit.
Get in the bag to do it. You see that island they designed for him?
Yeah, that's the Saudis coming back for him. They want him back. They see what he's doing. They're like, "What's US paying him? Oh, we can quadruple that times 10."
MLS just
They'll just
growing
build
by
it-
the second with Lionel Messi.
It really is. You knew that was going to happen with him coming here. Like that wasn't going to hurt the game at all. But I mean, I don't think they were expecting this kind of excitement that a lot of just average fans have had. I think what has helped was that Leagues Cup too. Is like, I'm not saying that specifically because I know it's just a mid-season tournament, kind of like we were chirping the NBA for doing that, but I think that is actually pretty cool. I kind of looked into it. They invite a lot of the teams over from Europe or something like that, so it's not just the MLS teams. It's like an international tournament, and obviously Messi comes over and just ends up winning that shit too. So just another one for him. It's not anything like crazy from what I understand in the soccer world, but I think the MLS being on the same time when there's no really other sports on other than baseball also helps it out a lot, at least from a casual fan like myself. When I'm kind of getting sick of watching baseball and I know they're playing, I'll turn them on for a little bit, or at least try to find a stream. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I literally agree with all those points.
It's electric. What time do they play tonight? 9?
They play tonight?
Yeah, I thought I saw they play tonight. Leagues Cup's over. I thought I saw they play tonight.
Oh, the MLS play started back up?
Yeah,
Let me look.
August 23rd.
Yeah, it's not I would only tune in for Messi, and they play tomorrow night. But it is tonight. There's LAFC in Colorado at 10:30 p.m. So get some late action.
Oh, they play. I think they play Saturday.
Yeah, they do. Saturday
They play Saturday.
Yep.
They play New York.
Yep. That's the only one I've watched. Like, I'm just gonna tune in for Lionel Messi.
Yeah. Well, I think that's gonna do it.
Yes, boys, I think that does it. That's the end of season 2 of Hit the Books. Lots of good stuff to look forward to as we are ready to jump into the NFL season. Week 0 episode next week to start out season 3. Our live stream the first Sunday of week 1, our NFL picks and preview live stream. Really excited about all this as we, again, get closer to that NFL season, just 15 days away. That's all I got. Season 2, episode 52 in the books. That's going to do it. You guys got anything else to add?
Season 2, already through and through. Damn, that's crazy. But yeah, like always, thanks for listening. Show support on the social medias, like, follow, whatever you can do. Other than that, getting excited. Football season's so
It's
close.
almost
Stick
Mac
with us.
Jones revenge time.
All right, yeah. Let's not jump.
It's
to
almost
those
Ace be
kinds of-
disappointed time.
All right, you're wearing a Mets hat, buddy.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. It's not as bad as those first round bump from the Bruins, is it?
At least I have a cup in my life, Mac. You want to go down this road?
Let's live in the past.
I mean, you can't live in the present either because
All
you
right,
guys are
peace.
shaving their heads.
You can't live in the present either.
Yeah, we can. Look at my
How?
baseball team. We're in the wild card hunt. Where's
You're
yours?
not gonna make the playoffs. Congratulations, you got a little closer.
Yeah, a lot closer. A little. You guys sold the whole team.
And we're both gonna be golfing at the same time.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I think my teams have a better chance than winning than yours in every sport.
But regardless, they're not going to.
All right, we'll see. I mean, I have how many
Congratulations.
championships? How many parades for me? How many for you in your life?
Yeah, I've already told you you're living in the past. But if you want to keep going to the championships, we can. There's no point of arguing.
Hey, history repeats itself. That's what I say, my friend.
Is this the 100th episode? Did we figure that out?
No, I think it's next week.
You're right. It's next week. It's next week. It's next week. Okay.
All right. Episode 99. We're done.
Slob.
See you next week.